Hello everyone and welcome to Luminar Coffee Break. I'm Angela Andrew and today we're going to be talking about how to create a vintage style look on a portrait. So a lot of times when I'm editing a photo, I really let the scene, the subject, and all of that dictate the style with which I edit. In today's image, let me go ahead and switch my screen here, we have a beautiful young woman in kind of bohemian chic clothing, and I think a vintage look really suits this image well. This is my after image. Let me show you what I started with. And we'll click the visibility icon up here in the upper right. And there's my before shot. It's a really nice portrait of a young girl. And here's my edit. It's pretty simple how I did it, but I will walk you through it today. I want to say hello to Pat. Merry Christmas week. I love your festive spirit. I'm feeling very festive myself today. So let's go ahead and start this edit. I'm going to start by going over into my templates. Actually, scratch that. Let me go to edit first. I'm going to go to my history tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my original, and you can see my entire process from start to finish. So for this image, I started with a template, which I find myself doing more and more often. In older versions of Luminar, like Luminar 4, Luminar 3, we had things called looks instead of templates, and I hardly ever used them. I don't know why templates are that much better, but they are. The results I get are so much cleaner and apply really well to the image, unlike presets I've used in just about any other program. So I just wanted to throw that in there. If you're going straight to the edit tab, there's nothing wrong with that, but I encourage you to give templates a try because they're a lot of fun, they save you time, and they can even take you down a road creatively that you might not have expected. So something fun to think about. Hey Russ, I'm glad you're able to join us today as well. Okay, so I'm looking at the templates and the for this photo section, and I've come to really enjoy this influencer category. I like the tones that it uses, and it creates a nice starting point for a lot of things. And Cozy Den, as you can see, I've already marked it with a favorite, is one of the ones that I go to often. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Cozy Den. You'll see that it gives us a nice warm look, and it's kind of going in that vintage feel that I want. Now I'm going to click over to the Edit tab, and when I applied that template, I noticed that it added some grain. And I'm not a huge fan of the film grain. It works in some images, but it's just not my favorite thing. I'm going to go to the Creative tab, down to Film Grain, and just click that Reset button to get rid of it. That way, that's no longer affecting my photo, and I can go ahead and edit as desired. So now I'll go to my Essentials. I'll start with Composition AI. And let's go ahead and see what Luminar AI suggests for a crop by choosing Composition AI. So I like where it's going. It comes in a little tighter, but I'm not thrilled with how much of her head it cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up there, maybe even pull this in a little bit tighter because I feel like having her hand there and it just kind of blocks up that section. And we might even move this a little bit more, maybe right about there. I think that's a nice crop. You might do something different and that's totally fine, but I'm going to hit return on my keyboard to go ahead and commit that. And now it's brought us in a lot closer to her face, and I feel a little bit more connected with the subject. Let's see here. Next thing I want to do is go to my Structure AI. Now this particular template that I chose, it added a little bit, but to emphasize that whole bohemian chic vintage look, I want to really bring out a lot of the detail and texture that's behind her. So I'm going to take that amount slider and pull that up nice and far to the right. You'll see that added a lot of depth and dimension to that background texture, but it preserved her skin tones. And that's the AI brilliance of Structure AI, is that it's human aware and it doesn't affect skin tones when you're increasing the structure. Now, if you were to move it to the negative side, you can take this amount slider all the way down here to negative 100 as well. That will cause a gentle softening effect to skin tones. But going to the right, it really preserves all of that beauty in her face and doesn't make her skin look crunchy. So let me turn that off and back on again so you can see what that change made. Another thing I'll do here is I'll go down to my vignette, and for this image, I think a strong vignette looks good. Again, her face is nicely lit. I just want to darken down those edges, so I'll bring that amount down to negative 100. I might even bring that size down a little bit smaller. Go into advanced settings. I'm going to make this a little bit more round. I'm going to bring that feather way up because I like a nice smooth transition. And like I said, her face is already so well lit. I don't think I need to add any inner light here. But then what I'll do is go to Choose Subject. I'll move the center of that vignette so she's nicely framed, and then take my amount slider and back that off to a point that I think works for the image. I think there looks really good. I'll click out of choose subject, and now we're done with our vignette. The final thing I want to do with this photo is go over to our portrait tools. Her skin looks fabulous, her face looks fabulous. I just want to brighten up her eyes a little bit more. I love beautiful, crisp, gorgeous eyes that just draw you in. So I'm going to go to the eye enhancer, which you'll see that template that we added already turned it on a little bit. I'm going to pull that up a bit more and just really make her eyes shine. We can also play with the color of her eyes, and you see that her eyes are brown. But what I like to do is I take note of what the subject's eye color is, and I add that same color. And it kind of lightens it up, changes it a little bit, and then I can go ahead and pull this amount down. And it just adds an extra little bit of shimmer to the eyes, and then I can pull that flare up for lighting. And that's, obviously very optional whether you want to do that or not. With that, I might even pull back on the eye enhancer a little bit, but I think that just makes her eyes really come alive. So we can turn that off and turn that back on again. Totally up to you whether you do that. And in this instance, I'm almost thinking it makes her eyes look a little bit too light. So I'm going to actually just go back to the original and pull that eye enhancer back up. But it's a fun thing to play with. I've had it work in certain situations. I wanted to give it a try here live for you today. I didn't like it so much. So I would love to hear in the comments what you guys think, what you think of this portrait, this edit, and even with, changing out the eyes or the eye color. It's a fun thing to do, but definitely use it in a way that helps your subject look their best and look natural. You don't want their mom to not recognize their picture, right? All right, so let me pop over here to the comments. Pat says she agrees that she gets ideas from the templates that she wouldn't have had. I love that about templates. It's so much fun. Let me go ahead and show you the overall before and after here. It's a great transformation, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to remind you that if you have any questions, make sure you go to our webpage to skylum.com/support. This is a great place to find all sorts of answers if you come across anything, any issues with Luminar AI, if you just have general questions. This is your starting point. This is your hub. So if you need your download link, you can get it right here in this first tile. If you want to know what the FAQs are, these are our frequently asked questions here in this next tile. We have a very comprehensive user guide that you can access right here. And here's a link to get to our community forums. Now, if you have a question that you didn't find the answer for in those other publications, you can scroll down and use this section right here to send a message directly to our support team. And I just want to let you know they're still a little bit backed up, but they're getting through all of the messages as quickly as possible, and we really appreciate your patience. Please know that if you sent in a request either here or via our email at support@skylum.com, we will get back to you as soon as possible. With that, I want to go ahead and say, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow, and get out there, make some pictures, and have some fun. Goodbye, everyone.